Yeah. So as I told you that quiz 1 is actually you might have seen some grade right after when you were finished. Of course, you can understand that that was not a final grade. There are some questions that are automatically being marked, and there are a lot of questions that need manual just checking. I'm expecting this manual checking to be done by this weekend. So hopefully before mid-exam, you will get your assignment 1, 2 and quiz 1 grade back. Definitely you will get that back. So that is there. So you keep in mind that we'll be having that one. So we are going to have our mid-exam, as I said, next week, and it would be again in the same session, same timing, this Thursday from 1 to 5 for for your session. And again, for section 8, is going to be on Tuesday at 1 p.m. And for section 7, it's going to be 1 p.m. on Wednesday. Number one. Number two, the next thing is that we are going to have as we are having this live session today with section 9 today, Thursday. So we will have this next coming up week. It would be exam. And the week followed by that one is a student success week. So we'll be off for 1 week. So then we will meet back again, I think on July 1st, in the week that starts on July 1st. So keep in mind in that week, it would be a session with Monday's section 8, and you will definitely get a recording or some all the contents in your box for today. So yes, midterm next week, and every section will have their own timing for the midterm. And I'll talk about, as I said, I'll talk about some of the format, something, but I would really talk about that in the middle of the lecture or maybe towards the end, because I want you to just be here. So right now we have got 15 people in our session. So that's wonderful, and we are just expecting. So right, so let's move and start our today's session. Okay. So I'll just share my screen shortly. Okay, so here is my screen going to be. Can you guys see my screen now? Okay, Udit, thank you very much for your thumbs up for telling me that you can see my screen. So this is our week 6. It's going to be this is our 6th week. Today we'll talk about some of the very important topic. And the first topic that we'll talk about today in the first part of our lecture is actually views. And in the later part, we'll talk about something called subqueries. They are little bit of, you can say, advanced skills in SQL, because they are a little bit, you can call them on the advanced side of the programming of SQL language. So that is something that we are going to discuss today, and we'll start with the views. So first of all, let's talk about what are views. Views or view is basically a virtual table. Now that's quite interesting. Virtual table. It's something that you might not call as a physical table or something that physically exists, but it's a virtual table that is created just to have some particular data at some particular point of time that we should have that one. You know what I mean? So virtual table, first of all, we are saying that it's basically considered virtual table. And why it is virtual table? It dynamically produces a result set using a named query or select statement. So it will be, view actually does what? Dynamically produces a result. So it will create a result. It will give us a window on our database, but physically this table or physically this view something will not be existing on our on our database. So that's That's an interesting fact that we will have actually the virtual dynamically it will produce the result, and it will just it will be again it's still considered as a virtual table, right? So and again since it is a table which is virtual, of course, so it will also comprise of only those specified rows and column that we have mentioned. So I'll just mark that one. I'll just write that over here because I share it towards that. So today I'll be just writing a lot of things over here as well, just as we go along. So what it does that it actually it consists of rows and columns specified in its you can say in its statement. I'll call it what that statement is because we have not, or rather I'm just over there. So in create view, which is a way to create a view. So it only consists of specified rows and columns. And do you guys remember that I asked a question why it is not a good idea to use select asterisk? And that was the concept. You remember, you might have remembered that in your quiz one, there might be a question like that. So asterisk, we don't use asterisk because we say that actually asterisk means that we are talking about all the columns, but we create views for that particular purpose that we want to have a particular columns that we want to just bring out, and we want to show that particular column that will only show particular columns, particular rows, and particular columns, and it would just show to particular users. So it might be a database data entry operator, it might be anyone, and we will just try to create that one. Now here is an interesting concept, important concept that I would like to write over here. As I said, I will be just writing few things today. So when we create a view, we will be creating a view from a table, we are creating a virtual table from a physical table. We will have a physical table in our database, and we'll try to create a virtual table out of that. So I'll just mark it that the table or tables, there might be multiple tables that are listed in from statement. We'll talk about from clause, by the way. From clause are called base tables for the view. Now, we have not discussed the syntax till now, but I'll discuss that. Look at that syntax at the bottom. Create view phone list as select company name, contact name, phone from customers. Now, can anyone tell me what is the base table over here in this view? I'll talk about this syntax a lot, but let me ask a question before we move. What is the base table here in this view creation? Anyone? Customer. Yes, customer is the base table because we are creating this virtual view by keeping this customers or customers table in our mind. So that will be called as the base table. Why? Because that our view is basically referring back to this base table. So it does not store anything by itself. And again, it creates a virtual table for us. I'll just put that in inverted commas, it's sort of quote unquote virtual table. So it will be based on our base table, and base table here in this our situation is actually the customer, and we have that. So since it does not store any data, so actually since it does not store any data. So what we say, because it does not store any specific data by itself, what we'll say that it always reflects, you can say reflects the most current data, because in the base table, because it all the time when we just call that one view, it will go to the base table and try to read the most updated information out of the table. Make sense, everyone? So what we'll do, we'll create a view like this, for example, and then we will use that view, right? So actually what happens is that one statement might be there to create a view for us, and one statement might be there to use the view, because that will go inside maybe select statement, that will inside go any other statement. It can be just called over that. So as there will be a base table, there will be one statement to create view, there might be one statement to use that view in a particular manner. Let me just make it a bit above, and again I'll add few more things. One more point, last point about that one again. So view is stored as an object in database, right? So since it is stored as an object, there is an interesting corollary related to that one. And what is that corollary? It can be used by anyone. So it's a corollary, it's a useful thing. Sometimes it might be a problem. Anyone who has access to database, right? So let me see why it is just okay, right, that. So anyone who has this access to database will be able to will be able to access that one. And what can be those particular people? Those particular people might be those people who are accessing the database through a management system. Those people might be, the higher management, they're trying to access that one. That might be, there might be another program trying to generate the queries or reports, trying to generate the reports out of that. Specifically, there will be a lots of things, that it will do. So just to summarize that, because view is an object, it's stored as an object, it can be accessed by anyone, as I give like little bit of explanation. And as I always say, I have always said that there are few things that might not be in the slides, and I'm just right now giving that information related to this point. So I'm just marking it asterisk over here, that there is something that I have discussed without, of course, which is not written over here. So what I said is that it has access to everything. Who has access to that? So it might include the end user programs that are accessing our database. End user programs accessing our database. Sometimes there are such programs that would be generating the ad hoc queries, that might generate ad hoc queries. So these are the programs that might do that, or for report generation or something. And and there might be some special applications that are written for to be interaction with the database. For example, you have created a student management system, you have created something. So view, since it is an object in the database, so if you have any application that are used to specifically access data from your DB, so that would be accessible for them as well, right? So in fact, another point over here. So I'm making 1 or 2 points over here. In fact, it sometimes you will say that views are often designed to be used with specific types of programs. And I think this is an important point that I would like to write over here, that often views are specifically created to work with these type of programs. That's the program that I've talked about. Right? Makes sense, everyone? So this is basically what they're over there. Now I'll just take away this simple example from here. I'll cut it from here because I just want to keep text here, right? So look at that. So it acts as a filter for data retrieved from the underlying table. Again, the base table, whatever will be retrieved, it is basically, it works as that one. So let's come back over here and let's take the example, and I'll put that example over here on the top. A simple example. I have the simple example over here. So this is the way to create a table, create a view. Create view phone list as select company name, contact name, phone number. So what we are doing, we are just specifically trying to access 3 columns from customers, and we are not trying to access everything from customers. Rather, we are trying to access just 3 columns from customer, and that 3 columns we'll just use that as a view, and so they will become a. But again, there comes the concept. This is just the creation. There might be use of that one. So we have just created the view, And to use that, we might be using another statement, but I'll use that statement. View can be used like a normal table for select. For example, again, so you see that how to use that one. I've just mentioned this over here. If I just show you, let me just show you. This is 18. Why it is? Let's make it 18 as well. So look at that. So view is being created and the use is, look at that over here. So when I want to use that, I would say the view can be used like a normal table for select. Example, select contact name, phone number or phone from phone list. So I'm using right now the view. So we are even in the view, we can just, select something out of that view and we can just create that one. Make sense, everyone? Now, I would like to just, side by side run our code. So let's open our SQL Server Management Studio. And hopefully it connects for me this time. Otherwise, I'll have to just again do the same thing, that I'll have to rerun my SQL Server on the machine, because sometimes it happens that SQL Server is not running on the machine. Okay, I'll try to just run that one. Let's see. Yes, it is now connected. So it means that so everyone is ready with that one. Like, please, like I'll start a new query and I would like to give you an example from our database. Is that I have just used that example? Yes, I've called this. So I've just moved jump to a particular slide. I'll go back because I'll have to discuss these benefits. But first of all, I'm just taking this one. So again, we'll do that as a demo of the view. Let's do that as a demo of the view. First of all, I'm using one of the database. I don't know if you guys have that database or not. I'll just see that. Rather, I don't have that one as well. Okay, so what I'll do is that let's take our SIS database. We were using SIS. Yes, let's take a table from here. And again, you can see that view. We have a separate one for view, but again, right now we are just taking that particular thing. Which table should I take from here? Let's see. Let's see. So I'll just, for example, use, and what I want to use SIS, right? I want to use SIS and I want to just check first of all what is in my employee, and can I make a view out of it? Select everything from employee, right? So let's run this one. Rather, let's run both of them right now because I want to select the database as well. Okay, wonderful. We have got number, we have got reports too. Okay, that looks good. But let me find out some other one. Let's see. Select from course. Let's see that. Let's run that one successfully. So let's run that. Okay, yes. So number, hours, credit, name, and French name. Wonderful. We can use that one. So now let's create our first view. Let's create our first view. So we are just trying to create a view over here. So I'll write create view. Again, this is my statements that I would use, right? And let's say I can call my view anything at all. So I would say, for example, I could say EMP, or I can say employee, or EMP data, something like that. EMP data, right? As, so create a view as. Now do what? Select. Now select what? Select name, comma, French name, and let's say credits, right? From where I want to take, from course, right? So create view, emp data as select name. Why it is giving error? Let me show that. Let me see that. Incorrect statement. Create view must only statement in the batch. Okay. I'll talk about the batch and everything. It's working. but it's saying that create view should be only the only statement, or don't worry about that one. So it might have created the view, we don't know. And now it means that now we have got a virtual table called EMP data here. So now I'll try to run that. Select EMP data, rather select asterisk from EMP data. Right, let's run this one. You see that we have got a view virtual table which has 3 fields inside that one. Can I have a thumbs up from everyone? And I call this EMP data. And again, if I just come here, we have got a views, typically views table as well, views views folder as well. If I just come inside that one, you will find that there might be some of the, thank you, Dev. I can see your thumbs up. So it might come up sometimes, But anyhow, so this is select status from employee. So we have just taken that one. But now I can apply from this one. It's just same like as we have done. We can use that same like as a normal table as well. So I'm saying select status from EMP data where. So let's apply a where here. Right. And I say where credits, for example, let's say is greater than, for example, 3. Make sense? And let's say order by name. Why not? Let's order by name, right? So I have used that one. Let's run that. Query is still running. I don't know why it takes so much time. Oh, there might be something missing or wrong, maybe because it should not take that. Oh, yes, it's coming up. So see here. So it's coming up, and credits are basically, you see, if all those courses where credit is above 3, it is just showing them. And now what is happening? The base table in this situation, I'll just put that one as an example as well. Why not? Let's take this text from here. I'll copy this. And again, since we are, as I said to you, that's a simple example. And now I'll call it over here. I'll say this is C, Control V, and a demo. Right, let's put a demo here, and let's put that over here. Okay, this is demo. So I'll remove that. So I'll say demo using which database I've used? SIS database, right? So let me just copy this from there. I hope that is copied now. Yes, it's copied to me here. So look at that. So this is a demo of just, using the SIS, we might have. And again, one of the statement that might be helpful for us, because, later on, if you are running that one, you might get help from this one. So I'll use this as well. Use SIS because, we are working on SIS. So in this example, what we are doing, look at that. We have talked about the simple view, and it was a generic example. And now we have just taken up specifically by using the SIS database. And in SIS database, what we see is that it has it has just returned the result. And on the basis of that result, it's basically, it's basically generating that. Now, here I would like to add few more things to this one. Rather, what I'll do is that I'll copy this. So what I'm doing, let's see that. First of all, let me change that one. So I'm describing this description of this code that we have written now, right? Description of the code from previous slide. So we are writing the description of the code, and there are certain points that we need to keep in mind. Let's talk about the first point. So as we said, a view consists of a select statement that is stored as an object in the database, right? And so the table, again, the table, and I would write like this, table or tables referenced in the select are called or is called the, what they call, base tables, base table or base tables, right? For the view. So our base table in this situation, in this scenario, our base table is, as you know, that our base table is course right now. So I'll just write that over here. So I'll say course here in our example, the base table is course, right? So we have just used the course base table, and we have that one. Now, another very important observation about this view is that when you create a view, I'll first of all explain that and just write in a fewest word, that when you create a view, the query on which it is based is optimized for SQL Server because before it is saved in database. Then you can refer to the view wherever you would normally use a table in a data manipulation statement. So for example, you know that is optimized. So the query on which it is based is optimized by SQL Server. So query is already, the query is optimized. Query is already optimized for the SQL Server, you know. And now what we can do, we can now refer to the view anywhere. I'll just write this one, anywhere. We can just write that anywhere, just like we use a table, right? So, and one of the things that always current data, you remember why always current data? I'll just write this one, always current data. And why? Because you remember that I told you that it actually does not represent any columns or fields or of itself. Like it does not have any, it's a virtual table that is dynamically created on the basis of the table, base table. So it does not have anything of its own. Rather, it always returns the current data that is always available in that one, right? And the last point about this observation, this is very important. A view can also be referred as view. A view can also be called or referred as viewed table. And why it is called a view table? Because it provides a view to underlying base tables or table. Now these are all the things that we have already know, but I have just written down the description so that you have got the idea what we are doing. So actually view can also be referred as a viewed table because it is providing a view to underlying base table. So again, in our situation, the course is an underlying base table, and what our view is doing, it is basically providing us one of the viewed table, and we are just having that over here, and we will be just using that typically onto that one, right? So that is something very important, interesting, that so these are the description, all the description of this code. Now, so what are the benefits of views? This is very important. Benefits of views, and these are very interesting. Design independence, data security, flexibility, simplified queries, and updatability. And that's a very interesting, important point that you need to keep in mind. So what is design independence? What is design independence? Look at that. Data that is accessed through a view is independent of the underlying database structure. That means that you can change the design of a database and then modify the view as necessary, so the queries that it uses don't need to be changed. Are you guys getting that one? This is very important point about this one, because the data that is accessed through a view is independent of underlying database structure. When view goes in the table and it tries to extract data out of it, it is regardless, or it does not have anything to do with the database structure or the table structure on which it has been applied. But what it does is that it just takes out data. That means what? That you can change the design of a database and then modify. So if you just change, at times you come across a situation where you change the design of your database And that really, if you just, talk to a lot of, professionals, you will see that they will tell you that, yes, there are times when they change the design of a database. Why? Because to accommodate some of the new changings, to accommodate some of the products, to accommodate some of the important things. So if they do that, so for example, if the design is changed, you will just change the views fields or views, modify the view as per that one. But all the queries that are written, that might not be affected with that. Is that making sense? So that's a very, very interesting thing, that a view is adaptable, and it has design independence. It is not dependent on any of the the implementation or the structure of database, which is typically called as schema as well. So schema, all those things, it is not dependent on that one. And you have your view, and you can just create your view, and you can just work with that view typically when you want to go with it. Make sense, everyone? So this is design dependent. Now, data security. You can create views that provide access only to the data that specific users are allowed to see. And that's regardless to mention that one. I told you that the same question that was again asked in somewhere in the quiz as well, or might be asked again, that actually, when you want to secure your data, you want to have your secure data, you don't want to show everything to everyone. The statement to remember here is that you don't show everything to everyone. So now this statement is basically for the data security. Don't show everything to everyone. So, it's that statement that you need to remember. So it's basically what the data security, you create views that provide access only to the data that is specified. So you will create a view and you will just say, okay, these are the 3 tables that are specific for that particular user. These are the few tables that are specific for the particular user. And you will just create a view for that one. And now you are independent of that one, that you don't need to any worry about that what's going on. Why? Because now you have the view, and the person who wants to see the data there, they will come and they can just access this through the view. And they will not be having access to every table on the base table, every column of the base table. Right? So can I say some statement that you should remember again as an extra note? I'm saying a statement that views you can say that views are also a solution of not showing asterisk in the select. Select asterisk means all the columns. So views can be one of the solution to that thing. So if someone asks you again, you're asked a question, what can be potential solutions to the harm that is caused by using the select asterisk statement? Your answer should be views can be one of them. And that might be a question in exam, right? With exam. Anyhow, flexibility. You can create custom views to accommodate different needs. Yes, flexible. Whatever I need, I will create a view for that. And whatever I don't need. So look at our example over here. So you remember in course, we had everything, like we had number, we had hours, we had credits, we had name, French name. And in our view, what we did, we just took out the name, we took out the French name, we took out the credits, right? We took out that. And what we did is that when we just ran our, select statement, it brings up all the things. But of course, that it has hidden down. Oh, sorry, it cannot create that one. So it has hidden down, because it has hidden down the number. It has hidden down the hours that might have that there. So might be these two were the security, there was number and hours might be the columns that I was worried about. So number and hours. So I have just, hidden down those number and hours. And maybe I can create another view that might contain number and hours, and it just, hides down the name, for example, and that might hide down the French name of a particular course. Who knows? Make sense, everyone? So, and also another point to make over here in the flexibility, or maybe you can call it in the simplified queries. You can create views that hide the complexity of retrieval operations. Then the data can be retrieved using simple select statement. Are you guys getting that one? So, all that complex logic, you take it in, for example, view, and you just provide that view to the user, and user will use make simple select statement and will get out the data out of it. Can I have a response from everyone? Are you guys getting that one? So simplicity is also being achieved. You can say simplified queries is also being achieved that by using this simplified queries, like, because of the views, because you will have complex situations, you will try to hide that into the database, like, into the view. And then by retrieving the value from the view, you are basically doing what? You're trying to save yourself from that one, right? And now updatability with certain restrictions. We'll see some of the restrictions. A view can be used to update, insert, and delete data from a base table. But remember, there are certain restrictions. Generally speaking, if someone asks you, can we use view to update, insert, and delete? So a generic answer should be no. But yes, there are certain restrictions, through some problems, and we'll see that through some things we can just go and we can do that. We can just, we can do the updation of the data, right? So now let's come back and see one example of this one, and I'll try to write that example over here. Why not? I'll take this slide after this one. Oh, sorry, after this one. And here I'll just give you this is another example for that one. In our code, we'll just see so a view that restricts access to certain columns. Now I'm talking about a view that would that will restrict certain columns, right? Let's see the example for that one. And I'll write the code over here, right? I'll just bring the code over here, whatever will be the code, demo code. So demo code will come over here. And once we'll just, go there and we'll just try to create that one. Let's come back over here. And let's say, for example, this is our table. I would like to just have a table where we have maybe particular things. Specifically, so now let's create another view. Right? Let's create another view. Let's create view, and I would call it, for example, private. For example, not private. Maybe private might be a keyword over here. So I would say confidential. Confidential. For example, I'm calling it confidential, and I would say confidential data. Or why not I call it small con data, confidential data, because the bigger one will be. So confidential data, and I would say, for example, select. It's almost the same example, but just for the purpose. So select, for example, you select number. Again, I'm just talking about the same table. Select number and select, for example, let's say French name, and let's say hours. I'll just select hours from that one, right? From course. And again, since it is just giving an error, no worries. I'll select that one and I'll just run this query. So it run, and we should have another query. And do you see that EMP data query was added to the view? But if I refresh that, you will see that this next one, con data, should be there. But again, it's exactly the same. So it is basically restricting. Restricting means, as it was doing before as well. It is restricting our view to number, French name, and hours. And that is typically, if I just run through this one, and if I just try to print this con data, let's see that. So even on that one, you see that I'm just only getting the numbers, I'm only getting the French name, and I'm only getting the hours, because of course, as we have just done that before. So we can create actually based, and if I just mention this one as an example, just for example purpose, because I'll have to explain few things here. So demo code will come here. This is the demo code for restriction. And again, it has been restricted to that one, but let me just do something interesting. Okay, so I'll just demo code, and I would like to just, Control C and Control V, and I would like to change this one. So description of this code that we have. Description, right, of the code. Interestingly, we can create a view based on almost any select statement. What does that mean? We can basically just create a view on based of any of the almost any select statement. That means we can create, like, that really literally means that we can code views that do what? That join tables. We have talked about summarize data and use subqueries. Subqueries is the topic for today. We'll talk about that. And using subqueries and functions even. So now we are just talking about this, that even if we are just talking about that, we can create a view. And now what we can do, we can restrict access to the data.
हेलो
Yeah.
हेलो हाँ जी कैसे हो आप बस यार मतलब मैं तो उम्मीद नहीं की थी आप इतनी देर लगा दोगे मुझे लगा आप 2 बजे तक फ्री होते हो हेलो
Shubham, you want to say something? Shubham, you want to say something? Okay. So we can restrict access to the data in a table by including selected columns in the select clause. Now see again, select clause for a view. By including, again, by including, or by, you can say, or by including a where clause. So that, that will particularly just bring out those particular cells that we have talked about, right? So in the description, we just see that that is basically, that is basically done. Wonderful. Let's talk about some more things. We'll just talk about something. Rather, before even views consideration, I would like to add one more slide over here because there is something important that I want to discuss here. So in that, how to create or syntax of creating a view. I should say how to create a view. How to create a view, right? We're just talking about how to create a view, because view has there are some typical considerations that we would like to talk about. There are certain parameters that we can just work with, and those parameters are very important, and we'll just try to just do that, and I'll give you some observations about that, the description about that. Now let's talk about this one. Syntax, like, right, the syntax of the create view. So we have done the create view a lot of time, but now we are looking at the real syntax of create view. The syntax of create view statement. Now, create view is something like this. Write with me. Create view, the view name comes over here. Then we might have a square bracket. And of course, we can have column name one, for example, column name one, and there might be column name two, something like that, etc., 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 dot, dot, dot. And we have closed that one. There might be certain columns over here. Now here comes some important one. There might be width, and I'll use that by the way. With curly bracket, we have something called encryption, or it is called schema binding. Or there is another observation option. And what is that? It's called encryption, like both of them together. Encryption, comma, schema binding. curly bracket close, square bracket close. Now, after that, as, and then select statement will come. And here is something that we have not used. After that, there might be with checkpoint, with check option. I'll discuss that in detail. Let's say I'll call it capital select statement. This is actually the real, like real view, or the real, you can say that it's basically a view that would really work for that one. So now it has option of encryption or schema binding or both of them together. And then the select statement might come, and then with check option, there might be a check option, there might not be a check option. We can just talk about that one, but the details are really great over here, because we'll just talk about that, how this view, or how that particularly view might be just doing that typically, right? So now, if we just go through this one, and I give you an example where we will just gently introduce a subquery, but I would like to talk about that subquery a lot later on. But right now, if I just have everything from the course, for example, if I run that again, I want to have all the columns here. So now let's create a view. Create view, and let's say I say course list. I'm creating a view of course list. As, now select, for example, again, let's use some other table, because we have used it a lot of times. So if I want to go for, let me just see there. Oh, person, let's try that person maybe. Yes, person is good. So it has lots of fields. So let's use the person one, right? And let's create a view. So create view, and I call it person shortlist, for example. Person shortlist, right? And as, let's say, select. Now let's select something. Select last name, first name, and let's see. Last name, first name, and what else? Let's say city. Let's say country code. Let's take these fields, or maybe main phone. Main phone. From which one? From person. Right? Let's say first of all, we are talking about this one, right? So we have got this one, and we say that let's take this person over here, and let's create a view. So this is rendered successfully. It means that we have got this one, and we have got the view. Let's see. Select asterisk from person shortlist. Look at that. We have got this view where we have last name, first name, city, country code, and main phone number. Right? Now, as I said, we will be trying to gently jump into some other, some other than. So let me just see that where it is connected to. Like, is it connected to some part in our code? What is that? For example, what might be what might have been connected over there? So are these all numbers? There's a person is with the number, and let's see where else this number is being used. For example, for this person thing. Oh, person email, birth date, everything is there. There are lots of fields over here, but I have to just see that where else this person has been referred to. Is that referred in the program? No, it has code and everything, but let's see if it is in a student. Right, let's check that one. Yeah, I think it contains that number. And if that number is basically the same, local phone and local city, local, I don't know if these numbers are same or maybe they're connected or not. Let's try to do that, and we'll just try to see that. So where let's say, for example, as I said, from person, and where, again, as I said, I'm introducing a subquery, but let's say, so where number in, so we are checking number in, and let's say select number from, and what is this table name that we have just seen? Which table is this? This is student, right? From student. Right, let's see that. If it works, maybe if it has like connection, it will just come up. Oh, okay, it has already that shortlist 2, for example. Let's say shortlist 2. I'll tell you how to update that one as well. Okay, shortlist 2 is created. Now if I just go and run shortlist 2. Yeah, so what it has done, it has just maybe just given a connection over there. And if I just show you that how many lists are there, there are 420 rows over here. And if I just want to run, and if I select everything from shortlist, simple shortlist, let's run that one and let's see. It's 434 rows. You look at that, it has 434 rows. While as here, if we run that one, it has 424 rows. So it is just showing those numbers, and it has it is doing what? It selects number from student, and it selects from the person where the numbers are matched. So there might be 34 records where the number is not being matched. Look at that. Here we have 434. So maybe there are someone whose numbers are not matching. And if you just come here, for example, if you just take these two. So look at that. This is the number where you just look into that one. Oh no, not the program. I'm just saying about the person. If I just run that one, and okay, if I just cut that here. Look at that. These are the two numbers. And if you look at that, these numbers are typically being mentioned over there. And these are just going with this one. And again, what we are doing is that maybe there are certain values that are not typically being part of that one, and it does not give us that particular thing. So this is basically what, again, as I said, gently we have moved into a concept of subqueries, because there is a subquery that is running. But of course, we'll discuss this subquery in a very much detail. Don't worry about that one. But we are right now just talking about this one. Let's say how to create a view. And I have it's just seen the example over here. So I'll just come here and I will just do something here. Views demo. We have already done that demo. Some more example. We'll just look that. Okay. So now I want to just paste it over here after that. So I'll come to this one and paste it over here. Oh, sorry. How to create a view, how to create a view, how to create a view. We have got two. Okay. And here I'll just remove them. And I'll just say example, right? Example code or demo code. Right. And now let's copy this one. Come here and paste it over here. Yeah. Because there is a very interesting description of all this. I'll just come here and I'll just copy and paste it over here. And the second one, now let's take the description of this code, because that would be interesting. The name, first of all, the first point, the name of the view should be unique. Unique. But what does that mean? That means not same as any table or existing view. So name should be unique. Whenever we create a new view, we have to just give that the view. And how many tables a select statement can refer to? That is quite interesting. That it can basically refer to the 256. So select a statement within view can refer to, look at that, this will be a surprising fact, refer to as many as 256 tables. 256 tables, right? And also it can use any valid combination of joins, unions, or subqueries. Right? So it is a very interesting fact about that one. Right? So that is, it can refer to 256 table, and we can create a view on the basis of other views as well. And that would be called as, let me just, make this font as like this. Right? So we have that, this one. And the other point about this one, for the description of that one, we can create a view. We can create a view that is based on another view. We can create another based view rather than on a table. And it will be called a nested view. And surprising fact, SQL allows nesting of up to 32 levels. We can go 32 levels deep. There's an interesting fact over here, right? That's based, and again, spelling mistake, another, and up to 32 levels, right? So it allows us to 32 levels. And that's quite interesting fact. Right? And there are still some more observations because we have to talk about encryption, we have to talk about schema and all those things. So I'll continue with this one, but let's take a break right now. Continue here after break. And the break is again for 15 minutes around. This is 2 p.m. I'll be back at 2:15 p.m. Right? Can you all just write a chat message of okay or something and then join after 15 minutes back? Okay, thank you. I'm not stopping the recording because it makes 2 files, so I'll just try to make it 1 file today. So I'm back. Hopefully everyone else is here. Yes, Gurpreet, I can see your thumbs up. Wonderful. Okay. So let me share my screen. Recording is already on. I've not stopped recording today. So yeah, this was the break and that's all right. So we have talked about we can have this for example, we say that nesting can be allowed up to 32 points. And that is quite interesting. So, but there are certain things that might not be included in a views statement. The select in view or for a view can't include an into clause. Into clause cannot be included. Remember, into clause cannot be included, as well as there is another one, which is important. Also, it can't include, not I, it can't include ordered by, which is important, order by. Unless order by clause, and there is a exception to that one, unless the top clause or the offset clause, offset and fetch clauses are, and we'll talk about these clauses. We have not discussed these clauses, by the way. We'll talk about this, are also used. So if top or offset or fetch are used, we can use order by or into. Otherwise, we cannot use that. That is an important point, that what we cannot include in that one. Right? So that is very interesting. Now I'll talk about something which I just showed you with encryption. This is very important. With encryption, what is that with encryption or something? And I'll discuss that in the details, right? The description. Now let's come back over here and see what is encryption. The with encryption clause is used to keep users from examining the SQL code that define the view. Now, this is very interesting. With encryption, it's just like that same encryption that has happened over the internet. That our emails, our credit card information, our other sensitive information, that always goes as an encrypted data. And why? Because you don't want anyone else to have a look at that one. So when we write a view by using with encryption on, what happens is that the users cannot see or cannot examine the SQL code under the hood. Make sense? So again, that is also related to a little bit of security, or you can say security or privacy, that is basically handled with encryption. Right? So that is, you need to just keep in mind that with encryption actually provides us the security or privacy. Again, which is not, of course, directly mentioned here, but you have to remember that one. Right? So with encryption, we'll provide that one, that typical thing. Next, there is another one, schema binding. With schema binding. What is schema binding? Clause is used to bind a view to the to bind a view to the database schema. Now, database schema is something that might not have we directly discussed, but right now just consider, it's something that is to do with the overall structure of the table. Sometimes it is called a schema, like what is the structure of the table, how do we use that a table, and how we can just work that one. That is called a schema. So with the schema binding, it binds with that particular database schema, and that and that would do what? You cannot drop the tables on which the view is based or modify the tables in a way that would affect the view. So schema binding will make it sure that you cannot drop the table on which the view is based. So again, if in our example, there was a customer table. So if you say that I want to drop the customer table, but there is a view that is dependent on that one. If schema binding is turned on, like with the schema binding, what happens is that it won't allow you to drop the table. Does that make sense? It won't allow you to drop the table. And that is very interesting. So I'm just not writing it over here, but you need to keep in mind, as I have just mentioned, that you might need to keep in mind that schema binding does what? It stops a data, like stops, what do you say? Schema binding stops the deletion or dropping of a table, right? The deletion or the drop of the table. Why? Because it has affected into that one, and it says that I will not allow it to be dropped because schema, like that the view has been schema binded with the query, with the table. So that would, you cannot be, you should not be able to use that one. One more thing with the schema binding, which is very interesting, and you should keep that one in mind. With schema binding, one more thing happens. With schema binding, we cannot use the all columns operator, which is anyone. What is all column operators? Anyone? Let's see how many of you are listening to me. Wonderful, Atulya. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Status. So with the schema binding, yes, thank you, Shubham. Uh, so with schema binding, we cannot include all the columns operator, and all column operator is basically statist in the select statement. So it's basically, you have to, you cannot use that. Just keep in mind, schema binding does not allow us to do that. Now, the last thing before we move, check option. What is this check option? I'd like to talk about the check option here. And should I move it to the next one? Let's move it to next slide. And what I do is that, for example, let's take these two as well from here, and I'll continue that in the next one. Right, so it's continued. So you cannot use that all column operator, number one. Now with check option, what is check option? We can prevent, or with check option is used to prevent a row from being updated through a view if it would no longer be included in the view. Now this is a little bit tricky. With check option is used to prevent a row from being updated through a view if it would not longer be included in the view. So with check option will not allow the rows to be updated. Are you guys getting that one? The rows updation is basically stopped by using this this check option, and it does not allow to modify the row. And if you guys remember that we talked about that, generally that it does not allow us to do that. But there are exceptions as well. But this check option is there that it will never allow us typically to work with that one particularly, and we cannot delete that. So that that might cause that specifically to this one. So now let's talk about some examples. Even before that examples, I would like to show you something. What is that? Related to this one, I was just trying to say you that related to that one, I would like to just with check option. I'll talk about this check option and all those things, but let's before see some examples of views that have these these things being implemented, and then we cannot change or just work with those things. All right, so now let's see that how to create different views with all these options. right? Let's go back to the code. Now, yes. So let me just do that. Right. So I'll write it over here. What we are doing right now, create view with options. We are talking about with options. All the options that we have talked about, we'll try to just, return the queues. Right. So let's create a view. Let me just create a view. Create view. And let's see, we say person 2. For example, I'm just creating person 2 or, so person view, right? Person view we are just creating. As select, again, last name, first name, city, and let's say mail phone. I'm not taking country code now. Take this one from person, right? Now I'm just using the join statement here. Join, and which one we join over there? Student. Join student. And what we want to say? Where we want to join it on? We want to join it on that person dot number is equal to student dot number. Student dot number. Right? It is using a join, by the way. This first one, the first example is using join, and we might want to, first example by using join. Right? It is using join, but we'll see that without using join also we can just work with that one. So now let's create a view. And so it's command successfully run. And now I'll just run this one and see everything from here. Select asterisk from person view. Right, let's run this one. So now we have got this view, which has again, I told you the 420 rows because they're just, matching rows because it is using a join over here. But now we'll try to talk about those things that we have seen. So now let's do that, and let's try to use the same view. And it would be using top and order by. Right, by not classes, clauses. Top and order by clauses, right? So we'll just talk about this top and order by clauses. For that, I will be just looking for something that might have some values. And I remember that we have got some tables called, I think there was an account table. Account, yes, let me check the account table. Check for the account table, let's run that one. Oh, account is very short. I won't go for that one. Let's check academic status. Academic status. Let's run that one. Academic status. Oh, it does not recognize that one. So what's the name of this table? Let me see. Academic. Oh, spelling mistake. Let's run that one. Oh, it also has just 2-3 rows. I won't go for that one. Let's see. I want to go for something where we have, let's talk about incidental fee, maybe. Let's talk about incidental fee. Incidental fee. Let's run that one. And what is that? Let's see. So it has amount. Yes. So let's talk about this, amount, administration fee, and then there are certain tables over here. So let's talk about this incidental fee table, and we'll try to work with that incidental fee. So the table is incidental fee, right? Incidental fee. I'll just, use that one. So let's create a top, so create view top, for example, let's say top STDs, top students, as select top 5%, right? And what I want to just, maybe take out is, for example, item and French item. French item from incidental fees, incidental fee, order by amount per semester. So the table is amount per semester, and let's say descending. It should be descending, right? So let's create that one. Command completed successfully. And now if I just run that one, okay, it does not give us anything. 5% items, let's talk 5%. Okay, let me see if I just take away the person. I'm updating that one. So let's see that, because it already have that one. So, oh, it has come up with that one. So it came up with with one. So the query was running. I'm sorry about that. But anyhow, let's see that. If I say select top 5, for example, of top student 1. So let's run this one first of all to make the query. And now let's run this one to execute the query. Let's see. It is executing. I will wait for its execution. All right. Yeah. So it is just taking our top 5 item, French item, and from incidental fee, amount per semester, like order by amount per semester. So, it is basically, in that way, CSI capital is last. CSI, if I just don't do descending, I just say, for example, I want to do that in ascending form. And let me just call it 2. Or again, I can drop all of them later on. So if I run that one, and if I just run that one over here, it will just come up with that part. Right? So CSVs, CSFEs, and all those are just basically coming up over here. So that is typically what? That is typically using the top and the order by. And you remember we talked about the top. If it uses top, then we can have this order by. So if I just take away this top 5, for example, I take away this top 5 and try to just adjust that one. I can drop that, as I said, but let's do something interesting. If I just take away the top from here, so you see that now this is interesting. The order by clause is invalid in views, inline functions deliver derived table subqueries and common table expressions unless top, offset, or for XML is specified. Are you guys getting that one? That was the problem, right? So that was the problem. So I cannot just run that one. Why? Because top is not being included. So again, I have to just say, so for example, I can come here and I can say, oh, sorry, just insert note. So I can say top 3 items, right? And now, yes, it should be, let's say we'll update that later on. Now create that. Now it is there. So if it is there, I can just run this one. and I'll get that top one. Waiting for the output. Now see here. So these are the top 3 items that are coming up. And they are coming up by the order by per the amount per semester. Whatever amount per semester is there, they're just coming up with that. Right. So that's wonderful. Now let's try out the schema binding, because we have not tested the schema binding. And when we will have schema binding, I told you that what will happen for the schema binding one, that we see that the schema binding clause is used to bind a view to the database schema. We cannot include all status, like everything in that one. Why? Because that would really that does not work with the schema binding. We will need to have some typical fields, and that would be just mentioning that over here. So now let's do that with the schema binding. Let's try to create one with the schema binding. So let's write that. With the schema binding, I'll try to create that. Now in the schema binding, I'll come here and now let's create. So what I'll do is that I'll take, one of the previous one that we have just created, where we had the join keyword. I might be using this one, for example. So I'll try to create another one, person view 2, for example, as last name, first name, for example, and why not let's give them aliases, because that would really make them interesting. As for example, I say surname. Let's say last. And why not? Let's put up this one and I say last name, so that it is more readable. Last name and first name is as first name, close that. And city as city. Let's keep them and don't do that. Okay, so as they have just been taken out. Okay, and now from person join student on person. Right. Okay, I was just doing that. What we'll do that with the schema binding. So I'll come here and I'll say with schema binding. Right. So we just do that with the schema binding. And we will say from person, we are student or number. We have just joined that one, and just join when student with our person. So person number is equal to that one. Let's run that one with the schema binding. Because name person is invalid for schema binding. Okay, person is invalid for schema binding. What does that mean? Name must be in 2 part. Okay. So okay, it says that because the name person is invalid for schema binding. That's interesting. Can you find out why it's just showing that? It says cannot schema bind view person view because name person is invalid for schema binding. Interesting. Let me just check that one. We are joining that particularly person with from person, yes, and join this one. Okay, so it says that procedure person view 2, fetch start, cannot schema bind view person view 2 because name person is invalid for schema binding. Oh, why it's giving that's valid. Names must be in two-part format and an object cannot reference to itself. Okay. Okay. So it says that it has to be with schema binding, it has to be something specific. Interesting. Okay, maybe dbo.person. Let me check that. dbo.person, dbo.person number. Maybe let's check that. It says student must be right. So let's see that dbo dot student. Sometimes it happens and dbo dot student number. Oh, not DOB. Database object. Uh, oh, dbo dot. Okay, now it does that. And if I just first of all just remove and take everything out of it, let's see that. So we are getting again 420 rows. Again, it's exactly the same right now, but it's with the schema binding. Let's see that. Now, if I just say, for example, I just come here and instead of this one, if I say select a status from DBA person, for example, let's do that, right? And I want to just create another view and I'll call it view 3 and I'll call it view 3. So let me just say that and let's create that view. Uh, exactly. Look at that. Syntax static is not allowed in the schema bound object. So whenever you are bounding the schema, you cannot use static. Just remember that one, and that is quite obvious. And we remember that we had already done that. It has to have certain column names because we cannot have that one into that particular view. Right. So schema binding is basically for that one. So now let's talk about how to create an updatable view. We'll just talk about how to create an updatable view. And what I'll do is that I'll just, paste this one in our code. Let me copy that. So this continues. And again, here I would like to let's put that in over here because we have some place. All right. So this is good stuff. Let's continue. For views, there are some common considerations that we want to make. Views cannot be created using order by the area. We have just talked about that one. Or aggregate function, insert, update, delete statement must reference columns in only one base table. Modifying data in a view is not common. Be careful of table schema changing. It could affect a view. In SQL Server, you can use schema binding as an option when creating the view. It prevents the underlying table from being modified. That's very important. And all those observations that we have already talked about a little in here and there. Right. So alternating or altering or deleting a view, we can just delete a view, drop view name, and it would be just drop. And we want to just, now I'll just talk about this deleting as well. But before that, I would like to talk about how to create an updatable view. Updatable view. Right. We want to create an updatable view. So that is basically, we have got that one. So to that view must be updatable. Now, how to make a view as updatable? That's an interesting question. That requirement, there are typical certain requirements for a view to be an updatable view, and I'll list those requirements over here. So let's write those requirements over here. Requirements for creating updatable views. Requirements for creating updatable views. Now, what are the requirements for that one? So the first requirement for that is, let me just put it as a bulletin numbering. And I would like to just place this type of bullets here. So the first requirement, the select list cannot include a distinct, this is, distinct or top clause if you want to make an updatable view. So select a statement cannot include a distinct or a top clause. Also, no aggregate function in this one. We cannot use aggregate function. And remember these things because I would write some queries to trick you, and I will ask that what is wrong with this, updatable view. So I might ask you a question in your, in exam, that an updated view query is written and some of the options are being made bad. And you have to just, find out that what options have gone bad, and you have to just, make that. So no aggregate function in an updatable view, right? And no calculated value. That is again some thinking to be done for creating that one. Cannot include what? Group by or having. So for updatable view, you cannot include that even, the group by or having clause even, So these are all the requirements of that one. And last but not least, that one that we have not used, cannot include the union operator. We'll talk about union operator maybe today or sometime, but cannot include union operator, right? Cannot include union operator. So that is typically what? That is typically that these are the requirements for a view to be updatable. I'll just change the style of this one. So that it's coming in comment time. So that is basically these are the requirements for the updatable view. There should be no distinct or top, no aggregate function, no calculated value. I have to write calculated value, right? No calculated value. You cannot include group by or having clause. So it means that it has to be a view that does not have these things. But it might have an insert statement. It might have an insert or update or delete modify statements in base tables. If the view is not updatable, it's called read only view. So again, if nothing of above happens, if none of the above um, is available in a view, it is called read-only view. Read-only view. Of course, it's common that if a view is not updatable, it is basically called as the what do you call it, a read-only view. It is only read-only, and we cannot basically just do writing on that one, right? So we cannot write on something on that view. Okay, so then there is something that I want to more include, is that how to delete or drop or delete or drop a view, right? Let's talk about this one. How to delete or drop or even modify. How to delete, drop, or modify a view. So now, very common and very simple. We all know the statement for dropping a view is drop view. Statement is used. Drop view statement is used. So delete a view, we use drop view statement. And in this statement, you simply name the view you want to delete. Like the other statements for deleting database objects, what will happen? This statement deletes the view permanently. So you may want to make a backup copy of database first if there is any chance that you may want to restore the view later. So remember in mind, you might want to have prematurely or like permanently it would be deleted. So if you need a view that is really important for you and you are just using it and in one or the other statements, you always should do what? Try to come up with a view that you have a make up a copy of that one, because drop will delete it, that one. So now how to alter that one? For that we have alter view statement for altering. So again, here I would write that. So make sure to have a copy of view in case you might need it in future, because drop deletes permanently. Right? Deletes, not delete, right? Deletes permanently. Now alter view. So alter view's statement is almost exactly, its syntax is almost same. Syntax is same as create view statement, right? So if we know the create view statement, the alter view is typically, it's exactly the same one or like that one. And alter view just does what? It typically takes a value and it will just, take a view, and it will try to just, do that alter view, or it will just, try to alter that particular view. So now let's see that. We'll try to just, see that the syntax of alter view. I'll just, do that. So let's do that, the syntax of drop view and alter view. So we are discussing both of those syntaxes, right? Let's see that. So drop, view, and then view name. Very common for dropping, right? For alter, look at that. Alter, it is a bit lengthy one. Alter view name. And again, you might have column name underscore one, dot, 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 and I close that one, square bracket closed. And again, you might have optionally with, and here I would just say encryption or schema binding or encryption, comma, schema binding. Again, both of them together. Curly bracket. So it can be anything out of that. And as then our select statement. Select a statement, and then again, there might be with check option. With check option, right? We'll see that check option. Right. So now let's see some modifying thing over here. For example, I want to modify this view, which is typically like, which is typically, if I just run this one, I have a view that has all these one. And if I want to alternate that one, so, I'll just come here and I'll use the statement alter view person view 2, right? I would say that's just alter that view, and as for example, and again, you see that I'm not taking the schema binding, or maybe let's take the schema binding. As now I want to just make maybe some less, let's leave out that one. First name and city only. I just want to take this one. City. The select statement comes. And yes, from where was that? So let's say person, or maybe DBO person. DBO dot person join DBO dot student on DBO dot person dot number equal to DBO dot student number. You see here? So it would be student number. So now I'm alternating that one. So I'm just taking the city and I'm just taking away the name. And before that, if I just run this one, you will see that, you have last name, first name, these are all coming up as an aliasing. But if I just come here and I just, run this one, execute, person view, right? Person view name issue. Yeah, yes, thank you. I just made that one. So person view, we have got this person view over here, and now it has been alternated. And if I just run that one, you see that now they are coming with their own aliasing, and then it's basically it's not that's not giving that one. Now the last one, or the one that might be, if I want to delete this view, so I'll say view, delete view, and I would say person view 2, just delete that one, drop that one, and remember that one that we have got something. So if I just come here and run that, it says there is no person view because you have deleted the view from that one. Righto. So that is something interesting. We have just done that. We have just seen that deletion over here. And what I'll do is that I'll just write this code from here. Let's write this complete code from here for the deletion or updates. So I'll just paste that over here. That is the code. For example, so code comes over here. Now, yes, here comes some important thing over here. Before even subqueries, I would like to just talk about something over here. So if I just copy that one, I paste it after this. Right. This one is the syntax. Oh, this one is over here. So here. So how to update? This is very important. How to update rows through a view. Now this is very important, and here we'll discuss those options as well that we have talked about. How to update rows through a view. How can we just do the updation of the row through a view? And again, remember the check option thing. We cannot have a check option thing. We cannot just do that if we have got something like that one. So we need to particularly do that. So if I just come back over here and I want to just create that view again. Let's create that view again, maybe, because this is not there now, right? And of course, it will, if it is already there, it will just show me the error. Otherwise, it's basically being created. So person view 2 is just created. Now we want to just we want to update this view, and in a way that it will update it should update the row for us, right? So I come here and I'll say update. Look at that, update. And what is that? Person view 2, and do what? Set. Right? Set. For example, I want to set some typical values for some typical city or something, or anything where we want to just set for a particular record. So for example, I say set city equal to, for example, I say Waterloo, right? And let's make one more change. And main phone equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Let's do that, right? Update that one. Where, let's say, right? Where, and what I say, last name equal to, for example, Wong. Last name equal to Wong. So I'm using a view to set up or to change the value within the table. Right? Let's do that. Invalid. Okay. So because I have changed them, so maybe I'll have to say last space name. Let's see that if this last name works. Yeah, 2 rows affected. It says 2 rows affected. Now, if I run that view, oh, not drop. I was about to drop that. So let's run that view. And look at that. Wang, the city has been changed to Waterloo, and the main phone has been changed to this one. Makes sense? If I just go to the main table is what? Person, we know that we have the person table where this all is being stored. So if I just go to the person table, I run that. So Wang, and you see that Waterloo and the number is changed. So Shubham, do you see that? We have used a view to update the value of a particular table, right? So now with check option, when the with check option is specified, then what will happen? It might not allow me to just make that one. So why? Because it would, if there is a with check option. Do you know what I mean? Let's come back over here. Let's come back over here, and now let's alter this view again, and I'll alter this view again, and I say, for example, I say with, I say, sorry, I say with check option, right? With check option. We have talked about this check option before. What is that check option? Let me show you. See here, check option is used to prevent a row being updated through a view if it not. So now basically it with the check option, and if I alter this view with this one, with check option, alteration is done. And now I want to change the phone number to, for example, 333333, just to check that one, right? So if I just come here and I run that one, look at that. Invalid last name. It's an invalid last name. Why? Because you see that I altered that and the last name is coming over here. So that means now it's no more last name. You know what I mean? It has just updated that one. So now just come here and do that. Okay, so main phone, it does not finds that, even though, oh, why it does not find that? Because it is not included in view anymore. So now I'll do that one. City is equal to, let's change the, city is already changed. And let's say first name. I want to change the first name. Because, I have just alternated. I did not remember Alan Smith. I just changed the name to so the Wang, who has this last name Wang, the first name should be changed to that one. And this is what I'm trying to do. But let's do that. Oh, it says to affected. It means that there is something. Let me just check that. Wang has got that one. Yeah, Wang has been changed then. So why it is not doing that? Let me say that question. Or friends of you that says you have a check option. Let me just see that why it is not doing that. Maybe I'm not using the check option properly. Okay, it says that it's no longer included in the view. So if I update person city and I'm trying to modify a row, that is no longer in the part of this one. So it might not be included in that one anymore. Let's see that. When it will go out of the view, that's wonderful. So we can just check when it will go out of the view. So we have 434 rows over here. And let me just show you. Let me check one thing. Select distinct number from person. I just want to check that, how many distinct numbers are there. Let's check that. It says 434. And some of them are not included over there, right? Okay, I'll have to check that one. How do I check that? This is 434. And if I check this distinct number after joining, right? Hmm. Okay, we'll just see that. So right now it is not doing that, and I'll just alter that for a particular thing. It's altered, and now if I update that one, it is updating that as well. But somehow I have to just exclude it from this one. If it is excluded, it won't allow that to the happen. Mhm. Okay, I'll just see that it's example with check option. Okay. Yes, so fair enough. I think we'll just stop over here. And there are some catalog views as well, like particularly used for someone. I'll just let's talk about little bit about them as well. So there is something called a catalog view as well. So let's talk about them. And they are very interesting. The catalog views, they are a little different from this one, and they are called catalog views. So let me just see that. Updatable view, modify. We have just seen that one. And create view and upload view through the view. And now before subqueries, I'd like to just add one more. And here I would like to just add some text over here, or maybe I'll just do. I'll just come here and let's talk about something called catalog views. Catalog views, right? So let's do that. So the standard of the database, which is called, again, might have seen that ANSI standard. ANSI standards specify that a SQL database must maintain an online system catalog that lists all the objects in a database. This is very interesting. So the ANSI standard, like the standard says that every database, like SQL database, must maintain an online system catalog, which contains the list of all the objects in a database. Whatever objects we are using in a database, the list should be over there. And although SQL Server will let you query the screen system catalog directly, it is not recommended. And why? Because you have to code queries that are dependent on the structure of the system tables that make up the system catalog. So if the system table changes in future release of SQL Server, you have to change your queries as well. So that's something that is not recommended over here. So instead of querying the system tables, so see here, instead of querying the system tables, what we do, like directly, we do not do that directly. So instead of accessing them directly, we can use something called catalog views. That's the thing that we are talking about. They are provided by SQL Server and they are independent of. So catalog views are independent of structure of the tables. Structure of the tables. Right? So there are like certain there are certain system catalog views where we can just use catalog views, and I'll just show you one of them. Let me just show you one of them. Okay, just give me a second, and I'll snip it from a place, and I'll just show you that. Now I'll just come here and paste it over there. This is the one, and I'll just paste it over here. and then paste it over here. Let's see. This is some of these server catalogs. Look at that. So some of the SQL Server catalogs, sys.schemas, one row of each schema in the current database. It will just show me. Sys.sequences, one row of each sequence in the current database. Sys.tables, one row for each table in the current database. Sys.views, one row for each row in the current in each view in the. So these are all interesting things that we might want to use. So let's come and try it out, that how we will be able to just access those schema things or system catalogs. Then see here, select sys.tables dot name, sys.tables dot name as table name. You know what I mean? We are trying to access that one. Sys.schemas dot name as schema name. Right? Let's take these two. From sys.tables inner join, and join it with what? Sys.schemas, because tables will be connected to the schemas. And where on sys.tables.schema ID. Schema ID is equal to sys.schemas.schema ID. Right? Let's do that, and you'll see very interesting output for this one. Look at that. It is saying that country is a database object, country, province, and all those that are coming up, and they have related schemas with them. And they are just coming up from there. So schema name is DBO. Look at that. Schema name is what? DBO. So DBO is schema name, and they are just coming up from that one. Make sense, everyone? Now let's copy this one, because it is telling me that how many tables are there on my schema, and I'll just come over here and let's do a demo here for that one. Right, and I'll have to change the color of this one, because it does not look good. I'll make it black all so that it is visible. So now this is the code, and now let's write its description over here as well, and I'll write it just after it, just to add that one. So we can use catalog views. Catalog views are used to examine the system catalog. System catalog, which lists all of these system objects that define a database, including tables, views, columns, keys, and constraints. Anything that is there in the database will be included over here. And they were introduced, a special note about that, they were introduced only in SQL Server 2005. So they were, before that, they were not existing. SQL Server 2005. Right? And if you want to see the complete list, for a complete listing of the catalog views, refer to documentation. Go to SQL Server documentation, and you will find that. And you will find that over there in that one. And now I'll just want to change the fonts here. Just change the font for this one, right? So I just, that I've just changed that one, right? So that is basically what these are: schemas, views, and we can just talk about that particular thing. Now the last thing that I would like to discuss, and again, I would not include the sub queries. Rather, I'll put this for the next, after that coming week. So I'll just, because we'll just complete that views only today. So we are just, going for the views today, because that would be enough for today. So now after that, that I would like to just, talk about how to use the view designer. And that is very interesting. How to use, let me copy this one. So now you say how to use the view designer. So Management Studio actually allows us to look at the views, and I would show you that how can we look at those views and how can we work with those views, and that is quite interesting. Let's go to our Management Studio, and as I told you, as we have got the tables, I just close these tables, right? And we have the views as well. You see the con data, DBO con data, DBO emp data, the person contact view. These are all that we just to talk about. They are basically over here. So now if I double click is this one, and if I just want to see that one, for example, I would say that, I would like to just, look at that one, or maybe just view dependencies where it has been dependent, right? Let's see how what comes out. It is loading the dependencies. Rather, let's just close that one and run a query in the design view. That would give much more. Okay, just go. And I would say design. Let's see design. It is just taking a little bit of time. Let's see. Oh, it should not take that much time. I don't know. That's taking too much time. Looks like. Have you guys tried that, Shubham? Are you able to see that design view of the view? Because I don't know why it's taking so long for me. Are you guys able to see that? Let me know. Oh, not yet. You are also not able to see that. No problem. All right. So let's see that. It's not opening up. Looks like there is something wrong. Let's do that. Oh, it's not responding. Is it the same with all of you guys? Can I have response from everyone, not only Shubham? Everyone? Is it gone unresponsive for you as well? I'm not getting any response from anyone. Oh yeah, so now it should be there. So this is our view that is basically selecting some column from here. And this is just showing that number, French number and hours over here from the other table. And it's just say that it is just bringing up that. So this was con data. And if I just say employee data, and if I want to see the design of employee data, let's see how much time it will take. I've not seen any response from anyone. Looks like no one is trying to follow this along. Okay, this one is the employee data. And now if I just, say, if I refresh that one for, Okay. Can I have response from anyone at all? Because I don't see anyone being responding right now. Or is it I'm not receiving the messages? Sometimes it happens with my. Let me just see if I. Can someone unmute yourself? Shubham, maybe unmute yourself and let me know that either I'm missing some messages or don't want to send a message. Because sometimes my.
Sir, no one sent the message.
Okay, that's interesting. That is interesting. Right. Okay. All right. So let me see that views. Now we have got all these views here. And I'll just come here and I'll just try to. I don't know why it is taking so much time because sometimes my machine is slow or I don't know what's that. All right, it's opening up. Let's see. I just would like to show you that and then we'll just, end up. I will give some practice questions for today. And that would be the attendance for today. I feel that there is no one attending other than you, Shubham, because I do not hear anything from anyone at all. Yeah, so it's here. So look at that. Here it is just showing that we have joined two tables. So it is just showing those two tables where the columns have been joined. So you can just have a look at that over here as well. So that is typically what our designer looks like. So anyhow, what I'll do is that now I'll just give you some practice questions for today that you have to do and submit. I don't know how many of you are here, but anyhow, those who are looking at the recording, like the section 7 and section 8 students, they are also required to submit their respective one, and I'll open up that one as well. So I've stopped here, and I'll share all these material with you guys on the course shell, and you can just have a look at that one. I have the queries or the code that we have written down. I'll just share that code as well with you guys. And if you have any questions, you can just go through. And again, as I said, I'll be opening up a practice question that I would be happy that you will be able to just do that. And as I said, that would be today's attendance, so to speak. So that is something that we have just covered today. So any questions from anyone? Shubham, you said something, but I did not hear. Seeking what thank you are doing, because I've asked so many questions, you never replied to me. What do you mean by thank you? I've asked so many times, where are people, where what you are doing, and you are just saying thank you to me and then. So did you even hear that what we talked about today? Okay, so Seeking, I asked a question, that are you guys able to just open your this environment or something, but I never got a reply from you. I was just getting a reply from that Shubham, and I was not getting any response from anyone else. That's really bad. Anyhow, no problems. Okay, anyone else having any questions, please let me know. So this is our week 6 code. I'll update that code also on that one. We have the PowerPoint as well that I will upload. So you will soon get all the files and everything on the upload. And I'll open, as I said, I'll open a little assignment. You have to complete it before 5 p.m. It's a very little assignment, just some questions, and you have to just complete them and let me know when you are done with that. Thank you very much, everyone. And you can just put a chat message of thank you or something, and you can just leave. And I would meet you now after the midterm. Okay, bye, Shubham. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
It's Yash here. I sent email to you before, and you told me to, like have a word with you on online
I
class.
would not like to rush and have any talk to you, because I've been continuously asking questions. No one is replying. You were not there.
Sir, I was there. I was there.
I never got a message from you. Yes,
Like system was taking time. I all the long time I was there.
I don't know, because it's really bad. Do you see the chat? I
Yeah,
asked so many people.
yes, sir.
You so
But
you so you could not just send a chat message to me that asking me that, okay, my system is hang up, and or it is working right now.
the thing is, sir, I was not no getting proper structure or anything. So it's like if you will tell me to show that, and I have nothing to show, so it can be sir, I'm just like an introvert, sir. So I hope you understand like what I am trying to say.
No. I'm not understanding at all. This is
Uh,
just, you have to send a just single message. You have to just write, okay, working on it. But I never heard back from you, and that means that you are not there. How would I know that someone is here if even they're not communicating at all? You know what I
no,
mean? Yes.
I was there, sir. I was there.
So
I can
yes, you are
apologize.
just irritating me. I'm just saying you that why didn't you even reply when I was continuously asking everyone. Okay, just hold on. I'll have
Yeah.
to just stop recording before that.